Good morning, welcome to Idea Morning Digest. So good to have you join us on this edition. Always a pleasure. My name is Chinatu Oji, and of course, I'll be anchoring this session to take you through, of course, together with my colleague Mary.
Good morning,
Mary.
Chinasu. Good morning.
Don't mind me.
Good
I was
morning.
carried away by is it the
That's
excitement
fine.
or the mixed feeling I currently have about Nigeria,
Wow.
being in Nigeria? The two mini but sad
Okay.
stories.
Okay.
You're going on Twitter, you're seeing. Just this morning, I read an SOS message where a young lady said her father came for her convocation, and while on his way back to Abuja, he was kidnapped, and the
So
doctors
sad.
are demanding for 10 million naira. So you
Oh,
can just see that
so sad.
it's from one sad story to the other, and some Nigerians are now practicing detachment. Some are already just getting the feel. Some are getting triggered. Whatever the reaction is,
Yeah.
we are just, or maybe just moving by hope and thinking, okay, hoping that something good or not comes out. But regardless, I think the prayer now is for many Nigerians, let it not reach me.
Exactly.
Let it not get to me.
Exactly.
Because we know it's happening, but everybody's trying to see, since I can't fix the problem, can the problem not at least get to me? I was just telling
Exactly.
somebody yesterday that that's what many Nigerians are now doing. It's like, oh, okay, I can't stop the insurgency, I can't stop this terrorism, but what can I do? They pray, hoping that it doesn't get to their house, that's all.
Yeah. And
And
also to their loved ones.
Yes, and it's really sad, especially when you think about the fact that it's the system that should fix the problem, not hope, not prayer. I mean, prayer works, but prayer will not work where your head should work.
Exactly.
Right? So, but with that, I will welcome you to this
Yeah.
edition of Idea Morning Digest. Like I said, I am Chinatu Oji, and I'll be doing this with my beautiful colleague. I like her to say her name.
And I am John Mary. It's nice being here with us.
All right, Mary, so let's quickly look at the headlines that we have this morning. We'll be looking at Idea TV launching Government Agencies of Interest series. We'll also be looking at Algeria likely becoming first export customer for Russia's Su-57 stealth fighter. And then we'll look at Ethiopia, Malaysia deepening ties with new cooperation agreements. And finally, Nestle under scrutiny as new report alleges excess sugar in African baby cereals. With that, let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll be diving into the stories for the day. Stay with us.
Number 1. Synthetic biology advances. Synthetic biology is pushing science into new territory. Using AI-guided gene editing, researchers are engineering organisms to produce biofuels, biodegradable plastics, and even synthetic meat. In 2023, Ginkgo Bioworks announced partnerships to design microbes that can manufacture sustainable chemicals at scale. Moderna and BioNTech are expanding mRNA technology beyond COVID vaccines to treat cancer and rare genetic diseases. The global synthetic biology market is expected to surpass $30 billion by 2030. By 2026, the line between biology and technology will blur even further, making synthetic biology one of the most transformative fields of the decade. So there you have it, 15 more technologies that, alongside the first 17 we covered, are set to define 2026. Together, they show how quickly innovation is moving beyond our screens and into every corner of our life, from the materials we use to the way we connect and even how we think. And if you missed part 1, make sure to check it out next. If you made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now.
Welcome it as projects. The bulletin also spotlights Egypt's Academy of Scientific Research and Technology, which supports thousands of students, projects, entrepreneurship, innovations, and national research initiatives across health, engineering, and green technology. Nigeria's Tertiary Education Trust Fund featured for its transformative investment in infrastructure, research, grants, and lecturing training, while Rwanda's National Council for Science and Technology is profiled for its leadership in ICT development, human resource capacity building, and partnership that strengthens the country's growing innovation ecosystem. Through the series, Idea TV aims to highlight how strategic government efforts are shaping Africa's scientific and technological future. The program underscores the continent's rising focus on research, innovation, and education as key drivers of sustainable development. Now, talking about this, Idea TV has launched a new documentary style bulletin showcasing Africa's leading government agencies driving research, innovation, and national development. It's actually a huge one, It's actually a great one, With this, people can actually know what Idea TV stands for and would want to have interest to know more about the whole content in it and all. What do you think about that?
Yeah, except that we'll really talk about it more during the discussion segment because it's what we want to really talk about today. We want to spotlight it more and, give it all the energy that in it because it's worth it. Idea TV has been documenting for the couple weeks now activities happening in Africa, whether it's from individuals, whether it's from agencies, whether it's from NGOs. We've just been documenting and telling African stories the way it should be told. Tireless nights of researches, editing and everything put together. And what we are just saying is this is what is happening in Africa. How do we spotlight it? How do we appreciate it? But I do not want to really dwell on this because we'll talk about the government agencies. We launched today the government agencies of interest. Okay. That's what we launched today. And so it's a moment of excitement, again, seeing how far we've come at Idea TV, seeing how much we are rolling out and ensuring that we are telling the stories of innovation. We're telling the stories then talking about the entrepreneurial spirit here in Africa, talking about the inventions and all the good things that's happening in Africa, for Africa, and with Africa. And we're telling that through the Idea TV bulletin. One interesting thing about the bulletin is the fact that it's a documentary-styled way. So you can either access visuals on our YouTube channel or free-to-air platforms, watch and see how much we've taken time to tell the stories. For instance, this one is the government agencies of interest. So we've been able to tell the story using visuals to capture the core of the work that these agencies have done. We've measured, we've seen, we've surveyed, we've done all we need to do to ensure that these agencies are being spotlighted for the right reasons, or if there are gaps, we also highlight it. We make sure that, okay, what are these gaps? What can be done? So it's like a document style, and then we have the one on our website where you can download. And the best part is that you can download for free. You're not having to pay anything. And if you think about the wealth of knowledge that's in each bulletin, it should cost you lots of dollars to get and lots of naira to get if you're buying with Nigeria, lots of cedis if it's from Ghana. But we ensure that this is free. This is the vision of the founder of Idea TV, Professor Solomon Waka, to ensure that the African story is told from a perspective that is very unique, because oftentimes it's like Africa is seen through this perspective of every other person. Africa is seen through the lens of every other person except Africa. So if we do not tell our stories, how will the world appreciate it? And so that's that vision we are running by, and we're ensuring that those innovative stories, those enterprising stories are being documented properly, whether it's a bulletin, whether it's the visuals on YouTube, we are ensuring that it is spotlighted. But like I said, we'll talk about the government agencies of interest, which is what we've rolled out today, more properly during the discussion segment, so stay with us. But now to the next story. Algeria likely becomes first export customer for Russia's Su-57 stealth fighter. Nigeria is believed to have taken delivery of Russia's most advanced Algeria is believed to have taken delivery of Russia's most advanced fifth-generation fighter jets, the Su-57E, marking what would be the aircraft's first export, according to multiple media reports and defense analysis. The revelation came following the Dubai Air Show on 17 to 18 November 2025, where Vadim Badeha, Director General of United Aircraft Corporation, confirmed that 2 Su-57 aircraft had been handed over to an unnamed foreign partner and had begun combat duty. While Neither Russia nor Algeria has officially confirmed the buyer. Evidence points strongly toward Algeria, supported by earlier reports of pilot training and planned deliveries. The potential sale aligns with Algeria's ongoing Air Force modernization strategy, which has long relied on Russian aircraft and air defense systems. Leaked documents also suggest Algeria may require between 12 and 14 Su-57E fighters alongside additional Su-34 aircraft. If confirmed, this acquisition would add a next-generation stealth capability to a fleet already dominated by modernized Russian platforms, offering Algeria a strategic alternative to Western fifth-generation fighters such as the F-35. Analyst notes that such a move could strengthen Moscow's position as a key arms supplier despite international sanctions and competing defense exporters. While the Su-57 program has faced production delays and technical challenges, a confirmed export to Algeria would represent a major milestone for Russia's aerospace industry. Mary, I don't know how this story makes me feel, but I can just hope that Nigeria gets to this point as well.
Exactly.
I can just hope that we are modernizing a whole lot, especially when you think about the level of insecurity currently ongoing in Nigeria. I mean, in other parts of the world, you're looking at Tanzania, looking at, excuse me, Sudan as well. And you're just thinking to yourself, how can we as Africans key into this level of modernization? Because when you're talking about your security outfits, you cannot take Air Force away. The people fighting on land would need the support from those fighting on the air. And what kind of gadgets do they have? What kind of tools do they have to ensure that this fighting and this security is done to the highest, level? Because this is 2025, and it is very sad that you still have some countries where their gadgets or fighting apparatus are still outdated. They're still struggling or relying on other countries. So I like when countries realize that now this is time where we have to stand by ourselves, stand on our own, and ensure that we're pinning our feet to the ground to do what we need to do, provide the necessary security apparatus, provide the gadgets that we need to safeguard our territory, safeguard our land. And that's what Algeria is doing. And I want to see that other African countries taps in. Modernize your Air Force, modernize your army, ensure that you are ready, you're very ready. And we're not saying that war is coming, but no, it is always good to move with the time. Times are changing, apparatus are changing. You have to train, and I like that they organize training for their pilots in Algeria, because every now and then, when knowledge becomes redundant, when you're not moving with the time, then you're risking a lot of things. You're risking the lives of people, you're risking the economy. Oftentimes, these things do not tell outrightly, okay? Sure. But it plays out in certain ways. It plays out regardless of something. So I'm happy that they did not just acquire the Su-57. They were able to train their pilots, they were able to train their security arm, to ensure that they are ready and they are, just ready to safeguard the territory.
Training is very important, just like you've emphasized on training and also getting equipment, because you can't send somebody to go protect a country, a nation, or a state without the necessary equipment. So it's very important, and like you said, we're all praying for Nigeria to get to this point where we have everything on standby for us, where we know that even when we're faced with security challenges, we know that, okay, we can come in fully. We can actually overcome this with what we have at hand. But when you don't have anything at hand, when you don't have anything to use to conquer something, you just feel very relaxed. You just feel very vulnerable. You'll be like, okay, just like sending somebody to Sambisa for an instance, and you don't give the person the necessary equipment that is needed to go for the battle. The person feels helpless. At some point, and you see someone declining to go and saying, I can't do that, I can't go risk my life. I can't go risk my life because I'm not well equipped. Some of these people are actually not well trained. They just hear about things, or maybe connection sake, and they fall into the army or one other sector or another. So we actually need this in this country, as she said.
Next story.
So let's take our next story. Ethiopia and Malaysia deepen tie with its cooperation agencies.
Okay, I think I'll take that. Ethiopia and Malaysia have taken major steps to deepen their diplomatic and economic ties, signing a series of cooperation agreements during Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's official visit to Addis Ababa. The records or accords sealed on 19 November 2025 span key sectors including tourism, health, air transport, and urban management, marking a new phase of collaboration between both nations. During the visit, officials from both countries confirmed that the agreement include a new air services pact, joint frameworks for improving city administration, and MOUs targeting tourism growth and health sector strengthening. The leaders also explored broader areas of partnership such as industrialization, agriculture, digital economy initiatives under Ethiopia's Digital Ethiopia 2030, as well as cooperation in skills development and sustainable energy. Trade between Ethiopia and Malaysia reached $274.5 million in 2023, and officials say the fresh agreement is expected to boost economic exchange even further. Malaysia also announced plans to open an embassy in Addis Ababa, another strong signal of its commitment to expanding diplomatic relations with Ethiopia. Nothing makes me as excited as hearing bilateral, pact being signed. I always love it when African countries finally realize that they cannot exist in solitude and come together for an agreement, enter an agreement that's going to help their people. Take off that ego and ensure that you're entering agreements to help your country. First of all, it is about helping your people, strengthening your economy, strengthening your security, strengthening your infrastructure. And the other realize that no country can exist on its own, especially in Africa. You would need that collaboration. You would need that support. You would need that exchange, whether it's knowledge exchange, whatever kind of exchange that we need to ensure the economy is boosted. So I love this story from Ethiopia and Malaysia. I like how they've seen what the previous collaboration they had did. It increased their earnings to 274.5 million. That was the amounts that trade in 2023 between Malaysia and Ethiopia yielded for the country. So you can now imagine they've measured, they've seen, they've gone, they've seen, and they've said, okay, if this happened in 2023, then how about 2025? And I must remind you that Ethiopia has a standing pact, say, about Digital Ethiopia 2030. So Ethiopia as a country is on a move to ensure that Ethiopia gets to the highest level when it comes to the digital space by 2030. And they are doing everything that needs to be done by the books, outside the books, in the box, outside the box to ensure that Ethiopia doesn't leave that mark. It's about to be a huge milestone. And I can't wait to see how much this bilateral relationship between Malaysia and Ethiopia pans out in the coming years.
Did you see that strength of partnership?
Yeah.
The strength of partnership brings a lot of achievement. So when you're saying that we should actually adapt this system, that means we should be strongly involved in partnership.
Yeah.
When there is partnership, there is strength to do more. Like one cannot survive by itself, like just like like two chase 10,000, one cannot survive by it. So when there is this partnership, we have the strength to do more, we have the strength to carry more, we have the strength to push more. One person cannot do it alone, just like what we've just read now. The partnership is there and it brings more strength in everything and in anything they're actually doing. So we should adapt the style of being partners in everything that we do.
You heard Mary. Mary said all of us should adapt. But I totally agree. And it doesn't just go down to countries. I believe so much in the power of collaboration. I believe in small businesses coming together.
Sure, true.
I believe in people coming together, pulling their resources, pulling their knowledge together for a common goal.
Yeah.
It's going to be good for me. It's going to be good for you. And all of us get to win.
Yeah, all of us get to win at the end of the day.
I have never believed that anybody can succeed alone.
No. Of
And we can pretend all we want to say, oh,
I can do it on my own.
You are not.
By the end
you
of the
have
day,
to rely on the knowledge. Even if you're, okay, for instance, people who say that they are self-published people, right? You've read, you've studied, and the knowledge you got, whatever you got from, to publish that book, to publish that film, to produce that film, to do whatever it is that you did. somebody had to pay
It's
the
from
price.
another person.
You watch somebody,
Of course.
you listen to somebody,
Yes.
and it's okay that you say you did it alone because maybe there are no other physical people, but you learn from someone.
Of course.
And so that means you did not succeed alone.
Yeah, that's why we have schools today. That's why we have schools today, because you have to go to school to read, to make sure you pay attention, just to, you know, get to where you're going to.
Yeah.
You can't just wake up from your bed and be a doctor overnight and be a nurse overnight. You have to go through processes. And these due processes, people are actually helping you. So
Yeah.
you can see that obviously you can't
And it
do
doesn't matter
alone.
if you pay for it.
No, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. You're still
It's still a
collaborating
joint
somewhere.
force. It's still a joint
You're
force.
relying on somebody else's
Yeah,
knowledge
it's still
to
a
get
joint
that.
force. So there's nothing like I did it on my own. I did it
Yeah.
alone. So as a nation, we actually cannot stand alone. That's why we're praying for peace and unity, because we need this unity and peace to actually
Totally agree.
grow together and become one as nation.
True
So
that.
let's move forward to the next story. Nestle under security as new reports alleges excess sugar in Africans' baby cereals. A new investigation by Swiss NGO Public Eye has renewed criticism of Nestle infant food practice, alleging that baby cereals sold across Africa contain significantly higher level of added sugar compared to those sold in Europe. The report, released on 8 November, claims that over 90% of Cerelac samples collected from 20 African countries contained added sugar, averaging 6 grams per portion, while equivalent products in Switzerland, Germany, and the UK reportedly contain none. The NGO also raised concern over limited sugar label transparency, saying 2/3 of African products fail to clearly disclose sugar qualities. Nestle has firmly rejected the findings, calling them misleading and unfolding. The company insists it complies with national national standard, noting that some sugar measurements cited by the NGO may include naturally occurring sugars from milk or fruit. Nestle highlighted its ongoing efforts to expand sugar-free formulations, saying these are already available in 97% of its markets worldwide, and it plans full global implementation by the end of 2025. The company also urges that its series addresses malnutrition challenges, and that in fact naturally prefer sweet taste. So we're talking about this Nestle and all that is said here, that the investigation ongoing about added sugar and all that. Now they are complaining that the sugar is much for infants, especially this series, Cerelac and all that, that the sugar is high and it's not good for babies and it might cause other, diseases and sicknesses, complaining that it's actually high. Nestle is saying that findings is actually not true. So what do you have to say about that, especially Cerelac and all the abbreviations?
First of all, I like the level of scrutiny that went in here, and I must commend the body that did this. There's so many things that circulate in our markets that doesn't go through the right processes. So every now and then you hear people having, what's it called now? I can't remember the word. But there are certain things that we've had to deal with, from fakes, from excessive sugar, from quality dropping every now and then. If you're a fan of some biscuits in Nigeria, you'd realize that biscuit comes out
I'm
this
actually
year,
a fan.
a few months,
Yeah.
and it's as rich as anything. A couple months down the line, it doesn't just reduce in quality, reduce in the quantity. Milk, the same thing. You have lots of things. You have drinks, beverages that come out, and nobody really looks into these things and see what is circulating in the markets. How fake is this fake? How dangerous is it? Yesterday, somebody said that she was in Canada and she went somewhere and new fruits that were just on the... She went grocery shopping, by the way, and so there were like a lineup of fruits in the store, and she saw "Don't touch."
Okay.
And the fruit looked so good. And she asked what happened. And they said they have just discovered that fruit is contaminated.
Oh my God.
From the farm. I mean, they had gotten to the stall already, so it's not like, oh, So every now and then we have countries that are carrying out lab tests on everything that goes into the market. Okay. And my pain point here is, why is this not happening in Africa? Every now and then we see that NAFDAC goes and busts into places. But do we know that we still have fake drinks circulating? Okay. A lot of people, you tell yourself that you're not going to take alcohol, but what happens to even the beverages that you take? What happens to even the medications that you take? What happens to the what we call soft drinks now in Nigeria? What happens to the carbonated drinks that we take? You could say, oh, I'm not going to take alcohol, but then you even get a fake cream. Oh, I'm not going to take... It's as bad as the fake clothes that we have. You know, it bothers me a lot. And so when I see the whole report like this, it just tells me we need to do more. We need to do more, especially as countries in Africa. We have to do more. We must take ownership of our health. We must take ownership of our market system to ensure that nothing goes into circulation without you. We have SON in Nigeria. We have the NAFDAC in Nigeria. We have other organizations that we have NDLEA. But it still baffles me that somehow, these products that are not good for consumption makes its way to the market, and people
are buying.
Unsuspecting Nigerians
who are buying.
People who cannot read labels. They
don't check for NAFDAC numbers.
I'm telling you, do you know that just recently I got some things and I noticed that they just had NAFDAC, but there was no batch number.
Okay.
And it's bad because if you're not attentive, if you're not observing very well,
you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Especially when you don't take note of those things.
I've gotten to a store where I saw that they had a wine that was expired like 4 months ago.
And they're still selling.
And they still had it on the shelf. And I asked them why. And they said, oh, did you notice?
They didn't notice.
So it means that they don't even check to see.
They just want to
sell. That is the level of complacency that we have. That's the level of laid backness that we have in our places. I'm talking about Nigeria especially because this is where I live. This is what I've noticed. And so I want us to have more reports like this. We need to understand the sugar that we have in our beverages, are they safe enough for people to consume?
Especially kids, in fact.
Especially kids. You have kids who are overgrown. It's like, it's fertilizer because of the kind of things that they consume.
And sometimes parents will even be happy, like, oh, my child is growing well and very fast. And you don't know what that child has consumed.
And then you take that child and compare that child to a child who is in the rural area, who is eating very natural things and not having to... In fact, that child could be bitten by mosquitoes in the village. But because of the things that they eat, do you know that, Mary? Before now, if you walk around the African soil, let me speak about Nigeria because this is a story my grandfather told me.
Okay.
If you walk and then you hit your leg on a stone and it bleeds, you could just pack the soil around that area, put it on that tomb, and the blood goes away.
New discovery by me.
Well, it's not happening anymore. You can't try it now because if you try now, you're risking tetanus. A lot of things can now get into your body. That's how bad it is getting every now and then. So we need reports like this. We need to ensure that we're on top of our game when it comes to our health. But that's the much we can take. So let's quickly have a recap of the headlines. We brought you news that Idea TV has launched Idea Government Agencies of Interest.
We brought you also that Algeria names the first foreign operator of Russian Su and 57 stealth fighters.
You also heard that Ethiopia and Malaysia signed new bilateral cooperation.
And we brought you again that Nestle Faces new charms of excess sugar in African baby cereals.
All right. With that, we're going on a quick break. Join us later. The way I said join us later, you think that, I mean, join us after this break. That's what I mean to say for the discussion segment. Stay with us.
Number 2, advanced neurotechnology beyond BCIs. Brain-computer interfaces grabbed headlines when Neuralink implanted its first chip in 2024. But neurotechnology is much broader. Researchers are testing non-invasive brain stimulation to treat depression and PTSD, while companies like Kernel are developing helmets that can monitor brain activity with unprecedented detail. Clinical trials are exploring personalized brain therapies for epilepsy and Alzheimer's. In 2023, the U.S. NIH launched its Brain Initiative 2.0, investing billions in advanced neurotech. By 2026, these innovations could expand from medical use into wellness. Number 5. Space-based internet and satellite mega-constellations. Getting online anywhere on Earth is becoming a reality. SpaceX's Starlink already has over
Welcome back from that short break. I hope that you followed through with the stories we brought your way today. It's been happening in Africa. A lot has been happening. We've spoken about Algeria, Malaysia, Ethiopia, even Nigeria, and of course Africa. So if you missed any part of it, do well to go to our YouTube channel and follow up. You don't want to miss those gists. Well, it's now time for discussion segment, and we're excited to introduce you again to our idea government agencies of interest. We are looking at the institutions that are driving research, innovation, and national development across Africa. So, and I have Mary to do justice to this bulletin with me. Mary, we are going to talk about these organizations, these government agencies, and we're starting out with the National Research Foundation, popularly called the NRF. You'll agree with me that the NRF is a powerhouse in funding scientific research and training postgraduate scholars. They also run world-class facilities like the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory. And what that does is that it hosts projects such as the Meerkat and the Square Kilometer Array. Now, what these efforts have done is to put South Africa at the helm of affairs, making it, a global standpoint when it comes to global scientific collaboration. So let's pause with that. NRF is one agency that makes me happy. Anything that deals with young people sort of just gets into my head. I feel really excited because you are looking at the very critical parts of the globe. We agree that young people make up at least about 70% of the world's population. And I'm not sure any country can actually survive without the young people, the strength of the young people, the knowledge of the young people. And so when agencies identify that strength, that gap, and working towards it through the training, through the scholarship, through funding scientific research, because the truth is, there's been some sort of decline and a shift of interest in going into research. It feels like many young people are now interested in quick money. And when I say quick money, it's like, oh, let's just go do content creation. And so when you have young people who indicate interest, who are interested in pursuing research, and they're not left hanging, there's a support for them, you can already just tell that the future is bright. That's what's happening with NRF, the National Research Foundation, and it's been doing that in South Africa for a whole while now, and we're just excited to see what this is about. But the full gist is when you go watch the video. You don't expect us to tell you everything here. Nah, we're just giving you the tip of the iceberg, so you go to our YouTube page and watch what NRF is really doing in South Africa and indeed Africa as a whole. And of course, even globally, because when you're able to fix a problem in your country, it has a ripple effect in that continent and of course the world as a whole. So go check out what the National Research Foundation is doing. But let me hear Mary's comment on NRF.
Actually, they are doing a very great job. They are doing a great job. To even talk about the scholarship, I just like it when it says it's the powerhouse in funding scientific research and training. Like they are doing a lot, funding scientific research. like you said, young people are actually what we look at like the future of tomorrow. So if they are actually putting interest in findings, in other things rather than doing TikTok videos and other things, I'm not condemning TikTok videos. I'm not saying you shouldn't do your thing. But, you know, we will be glad when we see young people going for research, going for something technological, going for something innovative. This brings us peace of mind. This brings us, like, we're saying that this nation is already great, but we're going to do more great things. So yes, well,
Okay.
it's actually driving to the best place I can see.
I think I'd just like us to cue in a little video. I know we said let's just give our viewers the tip of the iceberg to have a feel of what to expect. So let's just quickly see what the NRF is.
Okay.
A quick
South
video.
Africa's National Research Foundation, or NRF. The NRF was established in 1998 with a mission to drive scientific innovation across all disciplines in South Africa. The NRF provides vital funding, fosters human capacity development, and enhances research infrastructure, ensuring South Africa remains a global leader in scientific innovation.
When we first launched, such as the UN Sustainable Goals, Sustainable Development Goals, and in that journey, you, all of you as emerging researchers, our next generation of researchers,
A diverse portfolio of research projects and supports thousands of trainees, postgraduate students, and postdoctoral fellows through various scholarships and programs. The NRF administers several national research facilities, including the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory, Ethiopia Laboratory for Accelerator-Based Sciences, and the South African Institute for Aquatic Biodiversity, which house major research projects like the Meerkat and the Square Kilometre Array. The agency also have institutional programs in.
So one of the research, one of the fundings or organization that enjoys the funding from NRF is the Ethiopia Lab. And I remember the way Professor Malik Maza spoke so excitedly about the Ethiopia Lab and his work over there. And so you can just see how the effects, the impact of one single government agency has. So when government agencies take it upon themselves to do the right thing, the benefit is enormous. But let's move on to, I think when I was even doing my IT, I didn't get that money, Sha. They told us to go and submit our logbook at State Fund office, that they will call us till today.
They've not called.
They've not called us. But indeed, State Fund is doing an amazing work, especially when it comes to training and retraining of lecturers and providing the right infrastructure for students to learn, for schools to, it could always be better, but they are trying. So let us quickly also see a bit of what TEDFund is doing in Nigeria.
Nigeria's Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TEDFund. TEDFund was established in 1993, focusing on improving standards in public tertiary institutions through supplementary support and funding. With an income derived from an education tax, TEDFund invests in research, infrastructure, and training, redefining the educational landscape in Nigeria.
The restructuring of both the formal and informal technical and vocational education and training is the key. While the NSQF, through the formations of the Sector Skills Councils, is out to assist the formal and non-governmental training, the revitalization of the formal technical schools is very, very important.
The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TEDFund, in Nigeria has funded numerous projects and sponsored thousands of trainees to improve public tertiary institutions. Projects include building and renovating infrastructure like classrooms, laboratories, and hostels, while trainees include lecturers sponsored for local and international masters and PhD programs, along with support for teacher supervision programs and research grants.
I hereby commission this lecture theatre for the use of the students of this institution. May God bless all.
Through grants, TED Fund sponsors lecturers to study overseas.
Isn't it just wonderful what TED Fund is doing in Nigeria?
Amazingly wonderful.
I do not think that there is any Nigerian university, you can prove me wrong, or any Nigerian tertiary institution that has not felt the impact of TED Fund. I can boldly say that. But let me get your comments, Mary, before we go to Rwanda.
You know, what is making me amazed is that, in fact, what's clear is that across the continent, these agencies are not only advancing science and technology, but they are also shaping Africans' future. Wow, it's amazing that they are not just funding, but they are shaping Africans. So they're after the leaders of tomorrow. That means they have interest in the young ones growing up. They still have belief that, yes, we're getting somewhere, and definitely I know we'll get there.
All right, Maria said that, and again, we want you to go watch everything. So that's not all about TED Fund. There is more. So you're either going to download the bulletin for free, share with your friends, and I want your friends to download from our website as well. So share them the link. They download, share with their own people, you share with your colleagues, everybody in your circle. Just let them know what the idea government agency bulletin is really about. But now let's head to Rwanda, where the National Council for Science and Technology, NCST, is leading the charge in ICT development, human resource capacity building, and of course partnerships to strengthen the country's growing innovation ecosystem. So Rwanda also has this agency where they are interested in funding research. They're interested in ensuring that human capital development is at the core of the mandate of the agency. And you can already tell, look at Rwanda. There's so many things that goes in. Just yesterday I was telling somebody that Rwanda is one country that puts their feet, when the government says they're going to do something, they're sure they do it. Look at their energy system, look at their environment, look at many of the drives that, they're pushing in that country. It stems from a place of research. It stems from a place of human capital development. It stems from a place from deliberate and conscious effort to ensure that Rwanda is a safe haven. It's not just a country that is there. But actions are deliberate. Look at what they're doing with their land. Ensuring that they are encouraging agroforestry. Ensuring that they have a pact that says, we are very interested in ensuring that farmers must plant trees. And so what is that encouraging? And those things did not just happen. It is because there were researches carried out to know that, if we plant this way, this is the yield. If we do like this, this is what's going to happen. And so that's how it has been. So if you take a look at all these countries, we've spoken about Rwanda, we've spoken about Nigeria, and we've spoken about South Africa. We're not stopping here. We'll have another rollout where we'll examine what other research outputs these government agencies across other African countries are carrying out. And so when we do that, we indulge you to also download and, stay updated. But how can you stay updated if you don't put on your notification? Turn it on and stay subscribed to our YouTube channel. And of course, follow us across the different social media platforms to stay in the know. Because whether we like it or not, research, innovation, and education are finally becoming central drivers of sustainable development. So we've looked at these different initiatives that are now impacting communities, students, industries across Africa. And you can already feel the impact. Like I said, in Nigeria, it is almost difficult as a student of a Nigerian tertiary institution to not have felt the impact of TED Fund. It is very hard.
Very, very hard.
So, and I'm saying that on the general level of infrastructure, because we see the buildings, we see the labs, we see the donations that they make to the labs, and you can just tell that, this is such an impact. But this is also to encourage other government agencies, because we are not going to feature you if you're not putting in the work.
Yeah.
This is a carefully curated process, single-handedly, with all the expertise that you can think of, picking agencies that are really redefining what it means to be an agency in Africa, defining innovation defining entrepreneurship, defining research. So we are ensuring that those are the people we feature. So any bulletin that you're getting on our website, you can take it to the bank. It's very good for your research, very good for your references, because we did the work. So another way, we're encouraging you to ensure that you're telling your friends to tell their friends to tell their other friends that the Idea Government Agency of Interest Bulletin is finally out.
Available.
If I had a bell, I'd ring, because
I think we should do that.
It's buzzing.
Let's keep doing that physically.
Yes, so it's ringing in our head, and we want it to ring in your head too.
Yeah, sure.
Mary, before we run away from here, what are your final words about the Idea Government Agencies of Interest Bulletin that we've rolled out now?
What I have to say is that, like she said, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channels, and make sure you get it. It's very, 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 very important. I don't know how we're going to keep ringing that. That is very, very important. So please subscribe and let it keep ringing.
Did you hear her? She said subscribe and let it keep ringing. You can't let it keep ringing if you do not turn on your notification, and that's what we want.
Exactly.
If you are interested in research, in innovation, in education, in the growth of Africa, you would do that. And you would do that for me.
At this point, I would just have to say, you have to be interested.
You have to be. I mean, it's not much to be interested, but if you know what is good for your life and for the life of your future generation, then of course you would subscribe, you would get the bulletin, you would tell people to tell other people. But right now, that's the much you can take on this edition of Idea Morning Digest. My name is Chinatu Oji, and I've been with
John Mary.
And we're saying bye for now.
Bye for now.